Uncle Lloyd's still done.
How you doing?
For a phase
Okay.
How you doing?
Wow.
Good.
These have steel
Staying till
powder
April.
coated frame.
Good for him.
The front end's a lot
That's really-
tougher on it.
Yeah.
Mike
He's got friends and everything too down
Yeah, Rosemary Lane Carl, she was a teacher at Lyman Trail for, I don't know, 20 years probably, then she went to the Mayo,
Yeah.
but really good friends with them, and then he's met someone down there.
All good for him.
Okay, she's coming here this summer.
Is she Canadian?
No.
She's from Phoenix area.
Oh, wow.
And
Isn't
they're
that?
body wise.
Oh, how old are you?
My dad's
They want to make
was
sure
born in
that come up
53,
and run.
Sam was 50, and Uncle Lloyd's 48.
So,
So,
I talked to the
Uncle
service
Lloyd will
guy.
be what, 76 this
Yeah,
year?
for a while today.
Yeah.
Uncle Sam will be
We're trying to figure
75.
out what's gonna
So
break.
my dad will be 71. No, my Uncle Sam will be 74.
Crack the ball around.
Yeah. They're in their seventies.
We'll take them out.
Yes, but all of them.
No. Some guy in Calgary.
He has his own business.
The back of a truck, there that really cold snap in January.
Council, I'll just remind you before we start, please use your microphones.
Yeah,
Please use your
there
microphones.
wasn't.
Oh, yeah?
On it.
Test.
And make sure they're pointed towards you, not pointed away.
So there was.
And that goes for staff too. To warn you.
This is
Yeah,
already malfunctioning.
Oh, yeah.
All right, well, call the roll, let it show that all of council and administration are present.
I just wanted to add a follow-up on the reserve accounts, please. I'd like to also add what I was gonna add last meeting, the inquiries pertaining to the cottage project. That's it.
You good? Can I get a motion, please,
I'll make the motion.
to accept as amended?
Sorry, yeah.
Thank you. All in favor? Carried. Minutes of the regular meeting of council, February 28th, 2024. Right?
I'll move we accept the minutes of the meeting of February 28th as presented.
Errors, omissions? All in favor? Carried. 7.1, accounts paid as of March 11, 2024.
I'll move the accounts paid as of March 11th, 2024.
Any questions regarding the accounts payable? All in favor? Carried. 8.1, Will, come on down. Sergeant William Norton, our yearly report on bylaw.
Evening, Mayor and Council, Administration. I do come with you as the purveyor of information from 2023 and the activities that my team has undertaken out here in Gibbons. I'll kind of glance through it. I trust everybody has read it, so I'll do it quickly and we'll get to the Q&A, which is usually the most important stuff, and kind of see from there. But you know, from the inception of this program now, it's we started this in quarter 2 of 2022. So we're now over a year and a half kind of into it, and things are working extremely well, I believe, from my front, and the feedback I'm getting from administration residents, it's working well on that front. So all in all, I'm pretty happy with the way things are progressing as we continue to offer services with Gibbons. We have been, you know, busy with a large number of complaint files, and we've made a lot of headway, I think, in what we call like legacy files or campaign files, files that take a lot of time and energy, files that have been on the books for a long time. We've invoked some strategies to overcome some of those. We've closed a number of them, and I find that we're not so burdened with those larger files. Sometimes they take a lot of effort, but I like to solve issues as opposed to just kick them down the road, and I think we're doing a good job at that. We've also spent the last year and a half kind of just figuring out what we're doing with scheduling and where the residents expect us and need us. And with the team that I have, how we can address that. And I think we're finding that scheduling balance. I think we're out here often during business hours when the businesses need us, but we're also in the evenings and weekends when the residents need us. So we're striking that balance. And now as we get more embedded or have become more embedded, community events and presence of those things is kind of that next phase of making sure that we're scheduling in the right places. We've done a lot of community outreach. Thanks to Gibbons for providing us an office space at the Community Outreach Center that has actually proven to be quite fruitful. It allows us a lot of contact over at that facility and allows my officers to sit down in an ergonomically correct position and type their files without having to drive all the way back to the office and do some work. So that's paid off really well for us, and I hope we can continue to utilize something along those lines as we move along. We continue to build our relationship with the Family Resource Center. I think that is something that really came into light in 2023. My officers are having constant conversations with the clientele and the workers over there, and that has proven to be fruitful in at least, I want to say 7 files that we've been working on in 2023, whether we've initiated it with them or they've reached out to us. So that has actually been quite a fruitful relationship there. We've also done some other things like Meet the Community Nights. We were here for Disaster Services Week when we had our open house, and I'm hoping we can see our uniforms out more and more as time goes on. Our highlights from just the enforcement side, not something I generally like to tap on, but everyone's always curious. We did write around 95 tickets in 2023, whether those were proactive patrol, file generated, or the like. It gives us a gross fine revenue of just over 15,000, roughly 15,500. Of course, we don't see that. The government takes 2 chunks out of every ticket that is issued. So first they take the victim of crime surcharge off, and then they take another big chunk just for the sheer pleasure of them operating the judicial system for us, and then we get whatever's left, which is usually around 51%. It's like a 49-51% split. It's not exactly, but it's kind of the way it calculates out when you do the math. So that's generally what we get. So that doesn't mean that we see that money either, and we don't necessarily see it up front. Of course, when somebody takes a ticket to a crown prosecutor, that ticket amount can change. The justice that is presiding on the matter may change the fine amounts, and of course, we still have to get after them. In Alberta, it's a registry system, so you don't pay your ticket, they close you down at registries, basically. So if you don't register your vehicles and you only register your license, that's every 5 years. So we may not see that ticket revenue for 5 years. So there's a lag effect of when we see that. It's like an accordion effect, right? Where the ticket's up, you'll get a bunch in the front end, but then the back end kind of takes some time to draw out, right? So so the money's there, it's owed, it just might not be in your coffers for any time. We don't generally focus on that on our level. We like to just provide the service. This is just that added bonus, I like to say. At the end of the day, we do need to correct behaviors, and the way that the judicial system works is it ends in fines or something along those lines to encourage people to change their behaviors. Our traffic stops have led to a number of arrests on warrants, no insurance, suspended drivers, so things that we consider to be quite serious in the traffic end of the world. It was definitely proportionately high when we were starting our efforts, so that has come down in recent months, so that is a positive. We kind of got, if I might say, the riffraff dealt with, and now we're on the straight and narrow, right? So we've taken care of a lot of that kind of stuff. We definitely spend a lot of time in the school zones. We've doubled down our efforts slightly due to a number of community concerns, so we're definitely re-looking at that stuff, working alongside Public Works to make sure that we can do whatever we can to make sure that that vulnerable sector of our communities are taken care of. So we're continuing to have those conversations. We're continuing to make changes, and we're going to keep doing so until we do it right. So next year planning, just to kind of down the road, if we're still doing this kind of stuff, you'll just see us more and more embedded, more and more in, using the statistics that we've been gathering for the last year and a half to start making decisions, to make sure that we're bringing the community the way that everybody wants it to go, right? When we first get here, it's kind of like bang, react, right? And then it's like, okay, now that we've had time to breathe, we can start building the infrastructure. Now we can start taking it, right? So that's kind of what I would envision happening for the next little while. For statistical data, I can get through it, but really for the most part, we're still spending a lot of our time on bylaw complaints and bylaw matters, whether that is complaints from residents or even assisting public works with snow removal, right? Or parking on the road, doing snow removal is a bylaw matter, it's not a prevention matter. So a lot of our statistical data kind of strays us that way and takes a lot of our focus. I'd like to see it, down around that 50-50 or 60-40 bylaw to provincial, right? I don't want to see 80% bylaw and 20% provincial. We need to keep doing that. And generally speaking, that will happen as we continue to educate and inform and be present and kick that can down the road. So we should see that just naturally level out as time goes on. For the most part, we spend a lot of our time, if we go down to incident disposition, so this is just how things get dealt with on our end. You'll see a proportionally high level of subject counsel to warn, right? That's pretty natural, right? When we knock on the door and we say, hey, we need to shovel your sidewalk, and they say, absolutely, and it gets done. We don't need to enforce on that so much, right? But it's still counseling or educating that person to do so, right? So that's just how it gets scored. The way it gets scored is just very consistent across most police officer agencies. So this is something that I like to use when I compare ourselves to other municipalities, right? So you'll definitely see that. There's more unsolved or gone on arrivals than I like to see, but I honestly just think that is because we're 20 minutes down the road and we're not necessarily scheduled every day, right? So if somebody is doing something on this day and we're not here, they would generally get away with it if we're not getting license plates or somebody's house that was actually doing it or something along those lines. So higher number percentage-wise than I'd like to see, but I think that's just going to be the way it is. When it comes to bylaw files, I always talk about the big three. So you got your traffic and community standards issues and animal control. That is still where we are, right? Our big three is taking that. The others tend to be, I think we had some fire involvement. We had some fire hydrants, or water usage being investigated that wasn't authorized, things like that. So when I say other, I really mean other, right? If it's anything to do with property or vehicles, it's going to be under, or animals, it's going to be under one of those three. For what it's worth, I think animals are quite low in this community compared to others. I think that's actually kind of a win. We don't seem to have a lot of dogs, roaming the streets in packs and chasing the kids down and things like that. We tend to do quite well on that. Most of our animal files here are actually, animal welfare issues and things like that, where there's underlying issues as opposed to threats to public safety. So that's actually, I think, a pretty positive win for my take. Tickets by legislation. As you can see, when we do issue tickets, a lot of it is through the Traffic Safety Act. That's pretty common. That's where we spend a lot of our effort. Generally, the next one is going to be either a race between use of the highway, rules of the road, so are you behaving properly once you get behind your vehicle, or bylaw matters, right? That's kind of the race between the two of them. So this is pretty standard stuff that we see. And then when you see the tickets versus warnings in that last graph, we have more tickets than we do warnings. Generally speaking, we would see that the other way around. You would generally see more warnings than tickets. For the most part, my officers focus on things that cause collisions or things that are threats. And so if that's what they're pulling you over for, that's generally what you're probably get a ticket for. But all the other things you see, you get warnings for, right? So if I pull somebody over that ran a stop sign that had tint and broken taillights and tires that were or exhaust that were modified, they get 4 warnings, 1 ticket. So usually we see that the other way around. I think when I looked at it a little deeper when I was looking at this, a lot of it I think was to actually do with like snow removal. I think that really peaked our numbers up, and it was just kind of a blip in the radar. So I'm not putting too much weight into that. But all in all, I'm happy with all the numbers that continue to come out. I'm kind of an enforcement nerd, so I keep an eye on numbers. It's something I like to do. So I definitely track those as the season goes on, and if something ever can creep up, hopefully we can get ahead of it. That's me in a quick nutshell. I hate to summarize a year so quickly, but at this high level, that's really what we're looking at. So I'm open to any kind of questions, direction, or anything else in between.
Okay, I have three things. You mentioned the community center. Are you, you have a space in the cultural center or in the family resource center? This
In the cultural sector.
cultural center?
Yes.
Okay, just for clarity.
Yeah. No.
Okay, and I'm really happy to see your officers connecting with FCSS. I think that's wonderful. I promote FCSS whenever I can. Everybody knows that. And the last question, the dollars, you said approximately half comes to us. Who is us? Is it the town? Is it you as the enforcement group? Who is it?
So the fine revenue goes back to the way that the legislation reads is basically the enforcement agency that pays for the enforcement. So we are given agency codes, and we write that on all of our tickets. In this case, all of these ticket revenues should come back directly to the town of Gibbons, and then our services would come off of our contracted expectations.
Excellent, thank you.
G.
I have a few questions. APTO. I know that there have been some concerns regarding process of e-tickets and all those pieces. I just want to know that your service is up to date with what they're pushing forward. And I'm not going to get into the politics of it, but being a new service that the province is basically doing automated ticketing using e-services and a new way of doing things that could affect prosecutions. And again, I just wanted to know if you're up to date with that. Would you like me to go question by question or just rifle you all the questions?
Your call. That one's a quick answer. And see, you asked that one that needed an answer. I've got the mic.
Sure.
Why don't I knock that one out of the park? So yeah, we're actually completely up to date with all things through the province of Alberta when it comes to the e-ticketing and the court processes that they're exploring. It's going well across the board. It's expanding as we speak. I think we'll see another release this month. Also, just further to that, we do have budgeted through Morinville itself to relook at all of our computer systems this annum. So we're waiting to really see where the province is coming, where they're going to land, and then that'll dictate whether or not we need to pivot. And if we do need to pivot, I've already got the funds in place to make it happen. So we should be definitely good to go on anything with the new prosecution services.
Okay, and then how many officers do you have in your complement?
So there's obviously myself. We run 2 full-time employees for the town of Morinville proper, and then we have 7 casual employees that augment our service. And they come from a variety of different agencies and provide a myriad of different expertise.
Awesome. And then my one big thing, and it's always a point of contention with me, it's about branding when you come into our town, and I still would like to see your fleet vehicles advertising some sort of label of Gibbons on it. And I do know that there are some parameters allowed by pieces to allow for that. And then my other one, I don't know if you recall me mentioning it about a year and a half ago, but we have Gibbons pins, and I know that there's exceptions for peace officers to wear different pins as long as it's solicited with pieces to allow you to wear it. Because you're in our jurisdiction, I mean, if you're writing a ticket, they're going to see Morinville on the side. But if they see a pin that says Gibbons on it, it shows that you're representing us as well while you're in the town. So I guess for me, I'd like to know if there's a plan in place to add some branding for Gibbons without interfering with your Morinville processes. And then I'll just finalize my last one is I do really appreciate the report coming in. I would like to see more on a quarterly basis. And the reason being is to get a full years of everything is a lot to take in. And it'd be good to get to meet you more and see you more. It's really appreciated to see all this engagement that you've been doing over the years.
Mayor Deck, members of council, Councillor Malante, one of the key things we're looking to do is have it come in on a quarterly basis. We're just in the process of negotiating a new contract. In that additional, what will be obviously is labeling and branding tickets, so they're specific to Gibbons, and they have that information as well with that. So that's part of our overall negotiations. So going forward.
So what's your response to the branding?
Yeah, so the branding, we've had a number of conversations over the years, prompted by this council. Really what it came down to was where we were in terms of the contract and how much we were looking to invest as that relationship built out. Some things are very quick and easy. The conversation went over, up, over, kind of back down, and we kind of